Recording started, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Roland Thomas. We are recording and I'm sharing my screen. Today we have an important talk, as usual. I want to remind some of you, or those of you who don't know the story, the whereabouts of how BIOSUPERFOOD, biopreparation formulas came to be. We have with us today Dr. Michael Kiriac, who is the lead researcher during 15 long years of intense, heavily funded research to find solutions to issues of cancer, low productivity, which was jeopardizing, impacting the food chain in the former Soviet Union back in the 60s, 70s, when farms were all regrouped into these large, massive farms, which led to hygiene issues and tumors, and whatnot. So here's a list of some of the principal projects. The top row are those that were done in Russia and in North America. Dr. Kiriac was involved in reproving a few of the research, one with the poultry, one with dairy cows, and we also work with sheep, bighorn sheep. Research is done. We were just demonstrating that the same results could be obtained. We're going to be talking about thyroid, and I assure you that there was lots of endocrine glandular issues in these large animal situations. All sorts of endocrine issues, which led to other issues and symptoms, including tumors and cardiovascular problems. When we talk about bio-superfood, the word says bio, which stands for organic, in French, biologique, super and food. We're talking about food, a whole food, which there's no doubt that whole food is the best. The cells of our body, all the cells of our body, expect whole food. Do not expect, for example, a single nutrient at a time, whether it be vitamin C or D or X or calcium or magnesium. This would be a separate, isolate type of chemical. Actually, these nutrients, when they're separate, are more chemical than nutrients. Food is meant to come in families with all the cofactors. When you have a good meal for a cell, because we are made of cell, all organs, or thyroid, or brain is made of cell, or bones are made of cell. You have a good meal, then you have more energy. The red mitochondria in this picture are what energizes cell, and with energy, the cell will do their function. With low energy, they will not do work as well. I think this picture tells 1,000 words. I'm not going to enumerate the diseased issue or the healthy issues. This meeting is recorded. You will be able to ask for a copy of the recording, and you'll be able to look at these charts at your own time later on. I just want to bring you to the point where we will be talking about the thyroid in a structured approach. The brain is made of cell as well, so the same principle applies to the as below as above. If you can feed all the cells of the brain properly, you'll have more energy at the brain. You'll have brain speed will be recovered. You'll have all sorts of declining health issues reversing. You literally plasticity. Plasticity means you can regenerate. The brain cells regenerate just like any other cells in the body. And so you can regain health if you think you have lost some spark in your life. I advise you, or I encourage you to have hope. This next picture shows the global picture of the brain in relationship with the various organs and tissues of the body. There's only a few that are demonstrated here. It's an artist's rendition. It's not even a valid biochemistry diagram, but it shows that if you can increase brain health, the brain is responsible for homeostasis as well for stimulating all cascading hormones and message as well via the central nervous system, and increase productivity of all these organs. Even the liver is an organ which also releases certain metabolic triggers, as well as the kidney and pancreas, etc. I'm listing on the right side very few total hormones that our body synthesizes, really. It would need maybe a couple more panels to show that there are many more hormones and sub-hormones. But I'm also highlighting at the bottom there the hormones we'll be talking about specifically today: thyroid, TSH, TRH, the T3, T4, vitamin D. We'll talk about that because it is a hormone, and calcitonin, because it'll be part of our talk today. I think I want to show you another. This is to emphasize that these charts that I showed earlier don't even come close to demonstrating the complexity of the work of the hypothalamus, the genius within, which I am highlighting in the yellow area. It's responsible for a myriad of activity. And there's also a feedback metabolism. All these organs and glands, and even every cell in your body, has a potential to send back a message for help, or for I've got enough, or send me more. And that kind of interaction occurs trillions upon trillions of time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We come to a new chart that Dr. Kiriac has prepared for this discussion. And at this time, I'm going to invite Dr. Kiriac to join us. But first, I'm going to describe the big picture. We have in point H, and surrounded by the orange lines, the hypothalamus. Not a very perfect drawing. And below in green, we have the both aspect of the pituitary gland in P, surrounded by green. And then the red represents also the blood flow, as well as the nutrients coming in and the hormones liberated, triggering into the pituitary for hormonal activity. Dr. Kiriac, you are welcome to join us.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Thomas. Thank you very much, everyone. And let me continue in French for you, because my English is not so good. Okay. Fortunately, we have Roland in order to translate it. C'est un plaisir, c'est une nécessité de vous présenter l'activité hypothalamo-hypophysaire et avec leur impact sur différents glands. Mais aujourd'hui, on va discuter avec vous l'activité thyroïdale. Roland?
It's a pleasure. It's important. It's a necessity for me today to talk about the activity of the pituitary gland and the various hormone actions triggered by the pituitary. But specifically today, we'll be talking about the hormones related to the thyroid and para-thyroid gland, which is shown here in T1. in the blue circle, T1 on the right. And we'll be talking as well in T2 later on in activity within cells of the thyroid gland.
Okay, thank you. Vous savez, on ne peut pas parler d'aucune glande sans parler de l'hypothalamus, de l'activité hypothalamique. Et j'ai conçu ce diagramme aujourd'hui pour voir, pour prouver la cohérence, la corrélation entre l'hypothalamus, l'hypophyse ou pituitaire et la glande thyroïde. Comme vous le savez tous, la glande thyroïde a un impact majeur dans l'organisme. Quasiment pour tous les métabolismes, de la température, métabolisme des minéraux, de l'eau, de croissance. Et parfois, la glande thyroïde est responsable de croissance même du cerveau. Voilà pourquoi on a choisi aujourd'hui de partager avec vous l'importance de la glande thyroïde et avec la nutrition, la bonne nutrition pour augmenter l'activité de la glande thyroïde, pour garder le balance de la glande thyroïde, de l'activité thyroïdale.
Je dois traduire. I drew this diagram to highlight the fact that we should never decouple the hypothalamus in age, which is responsible for homeostasis, decouple it from any of the glands of the body, particularly between the pituitary and the thyroid. The thyroid gland plays critical roles in the body, that of growth, of early growth, even growth of the brain, temperature in your body, liquids in the body, as well as growth, as in growing of bones and tissue and so forth.
OK. Mais vous savez tous que nous avons un organisme vraiment génial, donc qui est supposé de garder un contrôle absolu sur chaque cellule de notre organisme. Mais nous avons plein de problèmes de santé à cause de nos habitudes, de mauvaises habitudes. Et à cause de nous et de nos cultures nutritionnelles, notre culture de conduite, nous avons beaucoup de pertes des hormones de libération à partir de l'hypothalamus. Et quand j'ai commencé à faire des recherches avec les algues, donc dans 13 ans, on est rendu sur le produit de BIOSUPERFOOD ou bioal concentré, on s'était aperçu qu'on peut contrôler, en utilisant ce produit, on peut contrôler et coordonner l'activité glandulaire, contrôler l'activité, la quantité et l'activité de production d'hormones et leur influence sur différentes cellules.
Okay, je vais Someone's getting a call.
C'est moi.
Okay, the culprit. So the last thing that Dr. Kiriac said about in the previous words was that today we want to highlight the importance of good nutrition to increase brain/hypothalamic energy and activity. We have this hypothalamus is Dr. Kiriac's words is the genius within, which is responsible for all metabolism. Yet in our lifestyle, due to our lifestyle or choice in nutrition and advertisement, we have many problems. Health, we have many problems, nutritional and health problem. We also have here concretely, we have loss of many of the nutrients and the hormones that are fabricated in the hypothalamus in age. Lots of the blood coming in is lost immediately or very soon upon reaching the hypothalamus to the general circulation, as in B, as you can see in the circle of B. We have lost there of even some of the hormones, the initiating hormones are lost there. So we have declining subsequently hormones flowing down into the pituitary via this, it's called a vena porta, the venal port. We have lost and we have declined because of that, of our good health. We have some issues in our life. In research that we conducted, we learned, we realized when we were developing the blends of microalgae that we could increase, that we could control, that we could increase the functionality, the energy of this entire system. And we were able to prove it in these immense trials, included overall over 1 million animals were involved in the research.
Ok, j'ai perdu l'image, Roland.
Tu as perdu l'image. Alors,
Non, mais écoute, mais je vais revenir vite.
La numéro 8 ou...
La numéro 8, oui. Oui, je suis là.
OK.
D'accord. Parce qu'on ne peut pas corriger une glande. Quand le problème arrive dans une glande, on ne peut pas corriger la glande directement cette glande. C'est comme ça qu'il faut contrôler l'activité hormonale. Voyons-nous dans un cas général, avec la glande thyroïde, c'est l'hormone hypothalamique qui doit agiter exactement sur la glande pituitaire, parce qu'il y en a des cellules spéciales dans l'hypophyse, dans la pituitaire. Dans notre cas ici, nous avons l'activité de thyrotrophin releasing hormone qui va obliger la glande pituitaire de produire le thyroid stimulating hormone. Et c'est là que la glande thyroïde commence à devenir contrôlée par l'hypothalamus même. Mais vous savez que même le système nerveux central, la santé de notre carcasse, de notre squelette, même la circulation sanguine, elle dépend beaucoup de l'activité de la glande thyroïde. Et voilà pourquoi on n'a pas besoin de trop des hormones thyroïdales et d'un niveau des hormones thyroïdales assez bas. Et comme vous voyez ici, à côté, nous avons une cellule de la glande thyroïde. Roland, tu vois?
Oui. I'm pointing to the cell here.
Oui. Qui nous prouve comment on peut corriger la glande thyroïde. Avec la diète quotidienne et avec les médicaments, l'activité de la glande thyroïde est dehors de contrôle. Et nous avons des hypothyroïdes et des hyperthyroïdes, des problèmes hyperthyroïdaux. En utilisant le produit à partir des algues, comme sont les bioalgues concentrées, c'est une chose extraordinaire. Qu'est-ce qui se passe à l'intérieur de la glande thyroïde? Que vous avez le récepteur hormonal, et non seulement à l'extérieur d'une cellule de la thyroïde, mais lui se liait bande à l'intérieur des cellules qui déclenche un processus extraordinaire physiologique. Et ça dans les millions de cellules qui sont dans l'organisme, qui utilise au maximum l'hormone thyroid stimulating hormone. Parce que les hormones stéroïdales, les hormones thyroïdiennes, les hormones comme l'insuline de la pancréas, elles fonctionnent au maximum et deviennent contrôlées dès que le récepteur des hormones est à l'intérieur de la cellule. Autrement dit, avec l'activité maximale de la cellule. Secondaire messenger system qui se déclenche.
Michel, c'est beaucoup.
Oui.
Là.
Oui.
That's a mouthful to repeat. I will do my best. In our thyroid gland, there are specialized cells, as demonstrated here in T2. Well, first of all, let's talk about the initiation of thyroid hormone. Begins in the hypothalamus in H with thyrotrophin, TRH hormones. They're releasing, stimulating hormone to the pituitary gland, which in turn releases thyroid hormones, here TSH, to the thyroid gland, which will receive this message. These are really message. But really the thyroid gland, remember, is made of cells. We're demonstrating one cell here. I'm sorry, I slipped. We're showing a cell, but here we're showing that the hormone comes to the membrane of the cell, here, the round green circle. But for it to really activate cells of the hypothalamus, of the thyroid, must penetrate within and be super active there and generate much more subsequent activity down the line into the body, the various functions of the body that are really controlled by the thyroid hormone. We have so many of our, even the blood flow, the blood formula is also under the control somewhat of the thyroid. Many of the functions of the body are subsequently functioning better if your thyroid is functioning better. Otherwise, we also see generally so many people, millions of people with thyroid problems, where often revert to a medication, which is a loss, frankly, because the solution, the better solution, is to resolve the problem starting from the hypothalamus rather than to cut across the system and play with the thyroid gland, because you have between the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the thyroid, you have a balance feedback. If there is too many thyroid T3 hormones or T4 hormones, there's a feedback from C at the bottom back to the hypothalamus via messengers, secondary messenger system, which then regulate how much of these hormones are liberated in the body so that you don't have too much, so that you don't have hyperthyroid or hypothyroid. This is the genius of the endocrine system, which is ideally best regulated through nutrition. And with the BIOSUPERFOOD, it was observed that this was potentially thousands of times more efficient than just with a regular, especially when you start to have a problem with just a normal diet. Somewhat our body loses that perfect balance. The BIOSUPERFOOD was shown to restore much of the hormonal activity to a perfect condition.
OK. Parce que nous avons ici, dans le gland, nous avons deux glandes. Dans la thyroïde, nous avons en arrière collé encore 4 petites glandes para-thyroïdes. Et si la thyroïde, avec les cellules C qui sont dans la glande thyroïde, elles sont responsables de diminuer le niveau de calcium dans l'organisme, la para-thyroïde avec les hormones parathyroïdiennes, ils vont augmenter le niveau de calcium dans le sang pour garder le homéostasis. Et voilà comment ça se passe. Et, mais vous allez me demander, mais comment nous arrive que nous avons tellement de dysbalances dans l'organisme et comment on peut le corriger. Seulement avec, au moins avec 4 capsules de la formule 2, parce que le meilleur est la formule 3, mais avec la formule 2, il fait un job assez intéressant. Ils vont contrôler l'activité l'activité hormonale par la glande thyroïde. Et vous savez, les hormones thyroïdales, vous les connaissez, T3 et T4. Le génie de ce processus est que les autres sont capables d'inhiber parce qu'ils passent dans le point C, ils passent dans la circulation sanguine et sont de retour dans l'hypothalamus. Tu les laisses savoir, je peux continuer, Roland?
Non, je dois...
D'accord.
With the thyroid, there's really 2 glands there, as you can see with the 4 dots. Those are the para-thyroid glands, which are mainly responsible, besides for stimulating vitamin D, which we'll talk later, but for calcium balance in the blood. Very, very important function. And as well, this can be immediately regulated simply by introducing, or if you wish, you can augment a better function by simply introducing early on 4 capsules of the blend of the Formula 2 equivalent, even though the Formula 3 is best, but if you don't have a problem, an advanced problem, a chronic problem, Formula 2 does a very good enough job. And so the thyroid gland, along with the parathyroid gland, are able to trigger activity in the blood, calcium activity, other activity, but also inhibit by returning back to the hypothalamus in the feedback loop from C to A here, via the bloodstream or via even central nervous system messaging. Voilà, Michel.
Merci. Et voilà l'importance d'utilisation de la BIOSUPERFOOD Formule 2 ou Formule 3. Que l'augmentation à partir du point C, l'augmentation des hormones thyroïdales, ils vont inhiber dans l'hypothalamus, vont diminuer la formation de thyrotrophine releasing hormone. Once cet hormone va diminuer en production, lui va diminuer la formation avec 4 capsules par jour de formule 2. Je parle de 4 capsules. Il va diminuer la formation dans l'adénohypophyse, la formation de TSH. Le TSH va revenir dans la glande thyroïde, va diminuer la quantité de la formule des hormones thyroïdiennes. Et comme ça, elles vont revenir dans le point C en traversant dans le sang, par le sang. Elles vont revenir dans le point C et qui vont dire qu'il nous manque des hormones thyroïdiennes. Et le feedback, négatif feedback, comme vous voyez, donc, est en train de corriger la quantité normale et anormale des hormones thyroïdiennes et parathyroïdiennes. Et pour moi, c'est important si vous avez compris ça.
We're repeating, it's important that you understand that when you just with 4 capsules of the Formula 2 per day, you will begin to correct the feedback metabolism or mechanic, really, between the hypothalamus generating the TRH hormone, thyrotrophin hormone, which stimulates in turn the thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH hormone, which are released in the blood flow to generate or to synthesize or monitor so many of the activity in the body, but as well are released as well and travel back to the hypothalamus to send a message that either I've got enough or I need some more. And so this cycle, this negative feedback cycle, is constantly vigilant, constantly monitoring the balance of the various hormones in the body. Today, we're talking about the T3 and T4 hormone, for example.
D'accord. Parce que qu'est-ce qui est important à comprendre? Parce que vous savez, généralement, mais il y en a des hommes, mais généralement, la grande majorité, c'est les femmes qui sont souffrantes de la glande thyroïde. Parce que si vous avez le point T dans la cellule thyroïdienne, c'est là qu'on utilise des médicaments et avec votre mode de vie. Pour ça qu'on a des hypo et des hyper. Mais il est important de comprendre que grâce à ce produit, nous avons d'abord un contrôle absolu sur les hormones hypophysaires qui, dès qu'ils sont synthétisés par les senseurs nerveux dans l'hypothalamus, eux, ils ont une autre voie dans le A3 qu'ils peuvent sortir dans la circulation sanguine ailleurs dans l'organisme. Et la glande thyroïde, dans notre cas, il y en a plusieurs glandes, mais dans notre cas, la glande thyroïde, elle devient dehors de contrôle. Il peut augmenter ou diminuer avec la glande para-thyroïde la formation des hormones. Et pour cela que nous avons des problèmes thyroïdaux, même le cancer des thyroïdes, et nous sommes obligés de tomber sur les médicaments. Voilà.
As you know, the majority of people that have thyroid-related issues to the thyroid glands happen to be women, unfortunately, but it's a fact. Due to various stress and for various reasons, this happens in life. But it's important to know that it can be reversed, corrected with this product, with the BIOSUPERFOOD. And in order to prevent imbalance, future imbalance, to correct existing imbalance, even correcting, diminishing the potential of cancer on the thyroid, gland, and many other health issues.
Mm-hmm. Et quoi faire dans ce cas-là? Je vais vous parler de quantité de capsules par jour comme une approche nutritionnelle, pas comme une approche médicale, comme médicament, parce que ça, le BIOSUPERFOOD, ce n'est pas un médicament, c'est un aliment. Et c'est bien de distinguer tout ça, parce qu'on ne parle pas de traitement médical pour devenir culpabilisé. Donc, si nous avons ou hypo ou hyperthyroïdien, il s'agit donc d'une disbalance, d'un déséquilibre. Et on commence, dans notre cas, si vous êtes avec médicaments, gardez les médicaments, et on commence avec une capsule par jour. On était supposé de donner cette dose dans un autre webinaire, mais on va le faire aujourd'hui. On commence avec une capsule par jour, surtout pour les hypothyroïdiens, pour augmenter la secondaire messenger system dans le point T ici, pour augmenter le processus intracellulaire, biochimique intracellulaire, la secondaire messenger system, pour augmenter l'efficacité de chaque cellule dans la glande thyroïde, avec une capsule par jour. Et comme ça, s'il vous plaît, de garder une diète alcaline. À chaque 4 ou 5 jours, ça dépend des personnes, vous pourrez augmenter une autre capsule de plus. À chaque 3 jours, À 4 jours, une autre capsule de plus, jusqu'à 4 capsules. Faites attention, jusqu'à 4 capsules par jour. À 4 capsules par jour, 90% des personnes qui vont utiliser ça, ils vont avoir déjà des bons résultats. Des bons résultats, ça veut dire meilleur sommeil, meilleur focus, meilleure énergie, meilleur métabolisme. Vous allez avoir même la qualité de votre peau que ça va changer. La qualité de votre vue, la vue, ça va augmenter bien. Vous allez avoir l'élimination de votre organisme parce qu'il faut voir qu'est-ce qu'il sort d'organisme avec 4 capsules. Et je vais continuer un peu, Roland. Et on s'arrête à 4 capsules pour 2, 3, même 4 semaines. À 4 capsules par jour avec même régime alimentaire. S'il vous plaît.
Let's start from the start. So it is important to know and to start gradually and safely, especially if you have already thyroid problem issue imbalances, either hyper or hypo. Hypo, it's easier, but also if you are currently medicated, don't stop. First of all, we cannot ask you to stop, and you don't want to stop anything suddenly since you were regulated possibly by the medication. It's important to remember that working with the BIOSUPERFOOD is a nutritional approach, not a medical approach. We are not in the medical business, and as such, it's a gentle approach to restoring good health. As well, it's important that you would follow, if you have thyroid issue, a diet that would lead to alkalinity, a better alkaline system in your body, which generally consists of a lot more of a plant food-based diet. Start with 1 capsule per day for the first 3-4 days. It's a gentle approach, and every 3 or 4 days, things go well, increase by 1 capsule. Carry on to the next 3 capsules after 3-4 days, and then up to 4 capsules after the next 3-4 days. Stay there for 1 month. Already, you will notice, especially if you're a new user, you will notice some new energy. You will notice often in the mood, in the focus. You will notice often in sleeping better. It's often noticed on your skin, even the sight. People notice change the way that they see colors. It really impacts every cell, not just of the thyroid, but of the brain, of the entire body. Even we see sometimes in conferences when we ask people to try the product, we give them 1 or 2 capsules. They come back a few hours later or the next morning, and their skin color has changed. They're pink. They go from pale sometimes, and you can see the cellular activity has increased everywhere. Health begins at the cellular level. Remember the first diagram that we showed. Voilà, Michel.
Merci. Grand merci. On sera rendu à 4 capsules avec 4 semaines ou 1 mois, avec 7 doses, et plusieurs, peut-être 60% de ceux qui prennent 4 capsules par jour en ordre de régler la thyroïde vont rester avec 4 capsules parce qu'ils seront corrects. Ça dépend de leur organisme, de leur métabolisme cellulaire. Mais il nous reste une bonne partie qui seront obligés d'augmenter la dose aussi à 3-4 jours, 1 capsule, jusqu'à 6, jusqu'à 8 capsules par jour. Parce que là, il s'agit d'un problème majeur dans l'organisme, non seulement de la glande thyroïde, mais il s'agit d'une faiblesse immunitaire, d'une faiblesse pancréatique, d'une faiblesse de l'activité de votre foie. Et voilà pourquoi on aura besoin de plus de capsules, non seulement pour corriger la glande thyroïde, mais pour vous fournir une grande quantité des anticorps que votre organisme même sera en mesure de fabriquer des anticorps pour corriger plusieurs malaises dans l'organisme. Ça, je parle de hypothyroïde. S'il vous plaît.
So we were and we are talking about hypothyroidism in this scenario. So many people would benefit as much as many as 60%. We don't have a very statistical number, but approximately 60% of the people at 4 capsules per day, once they've reached 4 capsules per day, it's often sufficient for having corrected or to feel, to notice the difference related to the thyroid problem. But with some, it's not enough. There may be more problems in the body that are related to the liver or pancreatic issue, digestive issues, immunity issues, more complex chronic various metabolic issues that are underlying in the body, possibly sometimes since a decade. We suggest that you carry on augmenting every 3 to 4 days by 1 more capsule, up to 6 capsules, maybe up to 8 capsules, to further increase the work of the cells of your body, to further awaken, if you wish, energize more intensively the hypothalamus and the various hormones to push further in support of the healing process. We were talking here about hypothyroidism. Merci.
Merci. Je serais très, très, très content si vous avez compris ça. Mais si on récapitule un peu la glande thyroïde, qui est responsable de la formation de T3 et de T4 et de la calcitonine. Calcitonine, c'est lui qui va baisser, qui va diminuer le taux de calcium dans l'organisme. Et avec la para-thyroïde, c'est à l'inverse. Et c'est plus difficile à corriger cette glande. Parce que pour la para-thyroïde, l'hormone hypothalamique, c'est là que le problème est majeur. En raison d'une mauvaise coordination automatique cellulaire, le négatif feedback ne fonctionne pas très bien à cause de la personne même. Eux, ils sont trop stressés, nerveuses, alors ils causent des problèmes eux-mêmes. Et pour corriger la quantité, la fabrication des hormones parathyroïdiens, qui sont supposés d'augmenter le niveau de calcium dans l'organisme, on commence aussi avec une capsule par jour. Très rarement, mais il m'est arrivé de commencer même avec une demi de capsule par jour, à cause de leur superactivité. Parce que dans leur cas, les T3 et T4 sont beaucoup plus dans le sang, qui déséquilibre la force inhibitoire de la glande hypothalamus. Donc, on commence avec une capsule par jour et rarement avec une demi de capsule. Et on va garder cette dose, non 3-4 jours, mais peut-être 10, 12, 14 jours pour pouvoir aller augmenter la dose à 2 capsules par jour. Pour une autre 3-4 semaines. Je me répète, c'est difficile de corriger les hyperthyroïdiens. Et on va rester, vous allez garder vos clients ou vous-même, ou appelez-nous, ou Roland, ou moi, dans notre cas, appelez-nous pour pouvoir vous aider, pour être en mesure de vous aider avec le dosage. Pas à cause des produits, c'est un produit qui est très compatible, même avec les médicaments. Mais à cause des grandes performances qu'il s'agit dans l'organisme, que vous voyez ici sur le diagramme 8. Merci Roland.
While if there's a problem at the level of the para-thyroid, which is responsible for calcitonin, it
increase the calcium.
yeah, that increases calcium activity in the body. The relationship hypothalamus in correcting the para-thyroid activity is more difficult. It's resist is not as easy as with the directly with the thyroid in our experience. In this case, when there is imbalance related to para-thyroid, it is suggested to start more slowly. Because if you push too much, you might increase abnormally even further the imbalance. So it's suggested to start with 1 capsule for the next even 10 days, 12 days, 14 days even, before going to a 2nd capsule per day, again, staying there for 10, 14 days, until you can increase 1 more and so forth, up till 4. It's more prudent and it's more slow to correct, but it works. It's a nutritional approach. If you need help, if you have difficulty working with this plan, do not hesitate to call us, write to us. Dr. Kiriac, myself, Maureen here is with us today. We are here to help and guide in this instance, whether it be for yourself or with clients of yours. Thank you.
OK. Donc, n'oubliez pas, trop de T3 et de T4, il nous cause des problèmes de hyperthyroïdie. Et le feedback les hormones parathyroïdiennes, il se passe exactement la même chose comme avec les hormones thyroïdiennes. Vous voyez la circulation sanguine qui vient et les hormones qui viennent de l'hypothalamus, ils traversent l'axe hypothalamo-hypophysaire, soit vena porta, viennent dans la cellule spéciale de la glande pituitaire, ça va dans la thyroïde et parathyroïde, ça va continuer dans le sang, qui vont se retourner dans l'hypophyse, dans l'hypothalamus, qui vont inhiber la formation du thyroid releasing hormone, et comme ça qu'on va corriger la parathyroïde aussi. C'est similaire. Mais franchement, nous avons ici 2 glandes dans une glande qui est réglée par même hormone hypothalamique, thyroid releasing hormone ou factor. Bon, si vous pouvez, c'est mieux pour vous, vous pouvez dire thyroid factor, releasing factor. J'aimerais bien, comme c'est nécessaire, de passer à un autre diagramme avec la formation de vitamine D dans l'organisme, avec une bonne implication, encore une fois, de la parathyroïde et la formation de l'assimilation de calcium. S'il vous plaît.
Well, we have moved on to Dr. Kiriac, first of all, reiterated the importance and the understanding of too much T3, too much T4, or not enough, and so forth, is regulated by the feedback mechanism that goes back to the thyroid and comes back down to the pituitary, into the cells of the thyroid or parathyroid, and so on and so forth. It's important to be aware of that, to depend on that, to believe, to know that. The knowledge is power. You cannot correct directly, ideally, you cannot correct directly at the gland level. You have to respect the system. We moved on here to a diagram to show a specific scenario here, in this case with vitamin D. And I showed 2 sides of the metabolism. The left side shows the current view of vitamin D deficiency does not ever talk about the hypothalamus for the brain or any involvement other than even the parathyroid hormone, which is showed here on the left of the diagram, PTH here. First thing to know, and Dr. Kiriac will talk about it, vitamin D is really a hormone that is created in several steps. The first step is you may have stimulation of the skin, which creates a pre-vitamin D. As well, you can consume some, and Dr. Kiriac will have a nice talk about that through your diet, and it is stored in the liver subsequently with stimulation from the para-thyroid hormone at the kidney. It is supercharged in what the true final vitamin D is, which is a hormone, which has many important support metabolism in the body. It's a very critical hormone, but it is not a vitamin, it's a hormone. Most people, once they get a diagnosis of low vitamin D or high, they may reduce taking the supplement or take a supplement, which is questionable, which is something that came in the market 15 years ago, big time. It was never heard of before in my experience. On the right side, I show the right picture, which includes the participation, the critical importance of the hypothalamus when well nourished, and particularly we're talking here, we don't hesitate, we're talking about BIOSUPERFOOD can literally increase correction and regulation via the para-thyroid hormone of the various metabolism in the body, starting from the skin. You know, I said earlier, your skin becomes pink. Why? Because all the cells of the body, including those of the skin, are stimulated when you have better energy regulation, because the hypothalamus is also responsible for overall energy regulation. If you consume some food that has some vitamin D in it, that will also be more efficient. You will assimilate or absorb more of it, even though you need to eat a ton of it. And again, the liver metabolism, kidney metabolism, the PTH metabolism is better, and you can easily correct vitamin D in your body in this example. Michel, veux-tu ajouter le concept de boire 12 verres de lait?
On va le faire. Mais et regardez donc, si vous avez bien compris, nous sommes en train de corriger les problèmes en raison de excès de calcium ou pas assez de calcium. Nous sommes en train de corriger la fatigue chronique, les problèmes d'estomac, d'œsophage, d'intestin, des reins, des foie, de l'anx, de la prostate, de la colonne. Beaucoup de problèmes se corrigent avec cette glande. N'oubliez pas, avec une interconnexion avec plusieurs glandes dans l'organisme. Ça, c'est dans un cas de hypo. Et dans un cas de hyper, on est en train de corriger le stress majeur dans l'organisme. Oui, mais vous pouvez me dire qu'il y en a beaucoup d'autres choses, non seulement les algues, comme la nourriture. Bien sûr, avec un mais, il y a toujours des conditionnels. Mais imaginez-vous, pour avoir 2300 unités, s'il s'agit de la vitamine D, 2300 unités internationales, il faut boire 14 verres de lait de bonne qualité. Ou bien 8 conserves de la morue, un bon morceau de viande, de grande viande. Il y a plusieurs choses. Ceux qui ne sont pas capables, ils ne rentrent pas 14 verres de lait dans l'organisme. Mais oui, 14 verres de vin ou d'alcool, peut-être oui, pour quelques-uns. Mais en cas normal, on ne peut pas boire cette quantité, manger cette quantité de nutrition. Une chose. Et la deuxième chose, il ne s'agit pas de manque de calcium, mais il s'agit d'un taux d'assimilation de calcium. Et avec cette abondance de la nourriture, on est en train de déséquilibrer mortalement donc, le système endocrin dans notre organisme. Voilà.
Okay. Let's be fair here. First of all, BIOSUPERFOOD is not the only, as you know, means to better health. I know we stress the importance of it because the research proved that it was extraordinarily helpful in resolution of so many problems. So of course here, if you wanted to choose the food route to correct your vitamin D deficiency, in this example, if you were to decide to eat or to use milk, which is increase in vitamin D, right? They add vitamin D. You would have to come to the amount of vitamin D that you need daily. You would have to drink as many as 14 glasses of milk every day. I don't think that anyone would want to do that. There's other problem with drinking so much milk, or to eat so much fish, 8 servings of fish, or very large meals of meat, etc., which would probably lead to other problems in the body. Of course, we should eat a proper diet for all instances, not just for vitamin D, etc. Dr. Kiriac added a cute note, but on the other hand, yes, you can drink 14 glasses of wine. It's not a suggestion. It was a joke. So the problem is not so much that we lack vitamin D. The root of the problem is that the metabolism that can allow our body to synthesize the final hormone D. So if the skin is not functioning, or your digestion, due to other problems, stress in our life, so many issues that people have once they reach 30 years old, no way, 40 years old. There's imbalance in many areas. It's a miracle that our body is carrying on working for us, even with so many imbalances in the body. So again, it's the solution is best to restore metabolism to a proper functionality, like fine-tuning a car so that it hums well. Thank you. On va montrer l'autre diagramme, Michel, le calcium. I think this diagram now, you're now expert in understanding this diagram. On the left side, you have calcium activity, which often people, especially women, low in calcium or with osteoporosis, revert to taking calcium or other product that will make calcium more assimilated. They take a supplement and then they have to take another supplement. And calcium is a billion-dollar business in America. It started with very few calcium on the shelf. Now you go to a health food store and you have 100 different kinds. Yet the epidemic of osteoporosis in our society has not stopped. We haven't made a dent. It really doesn't correct the issue of osteoporosis, which is a metabolic, it's a more complex issue than just lacking calcium in your diet or in your body. It's a function of assimilation, digestion, breaking it down and not losing it to your stool. People lose more calcium to their stool than they can consume every day. It ends up with bone density, loss of bone density. Peut-être on devrait passer à l'exemple des recherches, Michel, des vaches, par exemple.
Brièvement.
Yeah.
Très brièvement.
Yeah. We're going to be going through a few slides now. It's already 2:30, I believe. And then we'll leave room for a few questions. This is an image of Dr. Kiriac on a Montreal research project that lasted 5 years with dairy cow. This was taken in 36 months into the research, which was a proof of concept for this farmer. This farmer already had a very functional and high productivity farm, but with introducing 2 grams, it's about 4 capsules per day for the cow. As you can see on the diagram, an increase in milk productivity was by 29%. This is incredible in that industry. Those were results obtained in Russia, but this was proven on this farm. As well, increase in fat and protein, which are all the principal value of milk. That's how you sell milk, if you have good fat, good protein value. But what is not written here is that also cows typically after even two. Would you mute yourself, someone there? If you, cows, lactating cow on these large farms, productivity, increased productivity with hormones and so forth, very quickly lose their bone density because they lose their calcium. They lose more calcium to the milk, which is abnormally, as you know, produced every day. And as soon as they stop lactating, another calf comes in, and they can do 2-3 years, maybe 4 years, before they cannot even support their body weight because bone density is lost, and they're slaughtered for meat. That's the business of dairy cow in the world. It's atrocious. While introducing 2 grams per day of the BIOSUPERFOOD allowed for these cows to carry on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, which is a calf per year, and to produce milk for 10 years instead of 2, 3, 4 years. We're talking about the activity here of increasing hypothalamic, pituitary, thyroid activity, and all metabolism in the cow, so that you have not only higher productivity, but decrease in loss of calcium in the body. Similarly, with dairy, with poultry, egg-laying poultry, the same phenomena. This shows a research that Dr. Kiriac was involved in Canada at the University of McGill in Montreal at their animal research facility, working with 28,000 heads, 2 sets, so 28,000 times 2, was able to demonstrate the increase of protein in the egg, calcium in the eggshell, reduction of bad fat, augmentation, increasing survival rate of new chicks by 80%, and so forth. But similarly, egg-laying chicken lose their calcium to the egg, to the eggshell as well, more rapidly than they can eat some, which is because their eggs is taken away every day. So they're producing eggs every day. With the introduction of bio preparation in their diet, these chicken can double their lifespan of laying eggs, 24 months instead of 10 or 12 months. As well, the egg shell is harder, stronger, and the value, the protein and the nutritional value and the taste of the egg is superior. And it's very quickly demonstrated in research.
Tout ça avec grâce à le renforcement de la glande thyroïde dû à un équilibre hormonal et équilibre glandulaire dans l'organisme, avec à peine 4 capsules par jour.
So this reminder that all of these benefits are brought in by simply introducing in animal less than in human, the biopreparation, the blends of algae, and in human as well. These benefits can be also verifiable in human ways, if you wish. Here we have a case of protein synthesis, as well immunity. Quickly said, this woman was going to lose 75 bighorn sheep due to Johne's disease, which is a bacterial infection, which forces the farm to euthanize the animals according to the veterinarian rules. She refused. She put them on the biopreparation and she saved the herd. What she noticed was that newborns, first of all, twins, the mother would normally only feed one because for survival, while in this case, she was feeding both. They were feeding both twins. Also, they noticed that the horn of the newborn, of the 1-year-old, let's say, were as big as those of 2 and 3 years old from the past. So protein synthesis, collagen in this case, which is what makes the horn, was increased. So I mentioned that because we're talking about not just thyroid, hypothyroid, or calcium. We're talking about any and all metabolisms of the body due to better hypothalamic pituitary activity are restored. This is a human scenario case, a very dramatic image. I used it to be dramatic. A picture tells 1,000 words. Dr. Oster contacted me about now 12 years ago. And at the time, his body shape was the one on the left. And he had been already a survivor 8-10 years of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. His doctor had given him 5 years to live. And he took his health in his own hands. He converted to much better nutrition. He took a bunch of supplements until he came across BIOSUPERFOOD. And he had always done a regular discipline of exercising every day with the help of his assistant to keep his muscle mass, to keep some muscle mass. After he introduced BIOSUPERFOOD, within months, weeks and months, he noticed that muscle mass gain remained longer. So it gained better and it stayed on longer due to better protein synthesis, due to better protein assimilation, fabrication, utilization of protein in the body. So I want to remind you that I don't know of anything that can be compared to BIOSUPERFOOD. It's not a supplement, it's a food. It's not a drug. I truly believe that it's a paradigm shift. It has been for me, it has been for thousands of our clients, for millions of animals and hundreds and hundreds of pets and dogs and cats. I want to stress or show the colors in this capsule. This is a digital camera, so it's a macro level picture. But there already you can see the various colors of the molecules and so on and so forth. But imagine if you could go on a microscopic level, you would see, and these colors reflect the color spectrum of nutrition. You know, the carotenoid, the blue pigment, all the way to dark red, orange, and brown. All the colors of the universe would be visible if you could see it on a microscopic level. So I invite you to, if you have not used BIOSUPERFOOD yet, introduce it in your life. Talk to us. We have guidelines. We can speak with you. You can email us. So you get the chance of introducing it for yourself and for your pets.
OK.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roland. J'aimerais donc quelques mots vous dire en fin de cet webinaire. Le but de cet webinaire, c'était que pour partager avec vous comment on peut corriger, renforcer la glande thyroïde et para-thyroïde, alors pour maintenir en excellente santé notre organisme. Avec combien de capsules il faut utiliser, à quelle fréquence, comment augmenter, comment diminuer. Et voilà, parce que ça fonctionne à chaque fois, avec chaque personne, ça fonctionne à 100%. C'est pour cette raison qu'on est là pour vous. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
In summary, the purpose of this presentation today was thyroid and thyroid-related issues. Basically, it was very focused. It was intense. It was detailed. And we hope you understood. If not, do not hesitate to call us or email us and so forth. Thank you very much. I'm going to look now at some of the chat questions and pick a few, and then open to someone who would like to pose a live question. I'm going to go towards the end. Did they give the cows BIOSUPERFOOD or biopreparation? At the time, it was called bioalgae concentrate. The marketing name came after the introduction of working with human versus animal. So BIOSUPERFOOD is targeted for human and biopreparation for animal. Let's have a live question, please. If anyone would like to ask a question, I guess you know how to do that. You can unmute yourself and come on in.
This is Charlene Hopi. I have a question. I arrived late, so you may have covered this in the beginning. I've been taking, I don't take it regularly. I take it about 3 days a week because I'm really sensitive to things and I'm always afraid to take too much. And I usually take 2 capsules when I do it. But I'm also on thyroid medication. So that made me also a little nervous in terms of how much I could take. Is there a way to watch my TSH is always very low. So is there a way to put the 2 together in a way that is, you could explain to me and I can explain to my doctor who's very open to anything I have to offer?
Yeah. So is your condition hypo or hyperthyroid?
I low thyroid.
It's
Low.
hypo.
All right. Which is easier to work with. We did cover it, and I will repeat it. I won't say rapidly. I'll repeat it simply. It would be better if you're already at 2 capsules per day, is to take them one at a time, and for the next 3 or 4 days, stay at this level, and in 3 or 4 days, you can augment to 3 per day. And subsequently augment to 4 per day, again after 3 to 4 days. Keep your medication going and do, next time you get your blood check, you do inform your doctor that you are doing such, which may alter the levels. And he may have to reduce your medication, which would be the blessing. So start gradually in this fashion. After a month, or possibly 2, you will be able to decide if you want to have more success to increase to 5 per day after, and then 6 per day. And then again, review after a month or 2. So a gradual augmentation of how many capsules you take while monitoring the thyroid hormones with your doctor, with a goal to eventually potentially remove the drug, which we have had many successes with.
Je me demande, pardon, Roland.
Oui.
Nous avons ici un cas que elle tombe, elle est non seulement en hypo, elle tombe facilement en hyper. C'est exactement ce que j'ai expliqué. C'est pour cette raison que son organisme est si sensible, comme elle dit. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? Une capsule 2 fois par jour, pas pour 3-4 jours, mais pour, disons, 4, mais pour un mois. Après ça, on augmente notre capsule. Elle pourra faire la 3e capsule. Elle pourra augmenter la 4e capsule dans une semaine après ça, après qu'elle a pris 3 capsules. Mais si elle devient sensible, il faut qu'elle revienne à 3 capsules par jour. Okay. Parce qu'elle tombe facilement de hypo en hyper. Voilà. Le problème est avec le thyroid-releasing hormone ici. Comprends? Oui. Et voilà, c'est assez compliqué cette cas.
Dr. Kiriac picked up on what you said regarding that you're sensitive. And
that I have a low TSH, very low TSH. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
He further suggested that if you're at 2 a day now, take them 1 at a time, not together. And then stay at this level for, say, even a week, even a month if you want it. And then you can augment to 3 for a week. And if everything is okay, go to 4, and slowly like this. And if ever you feel that it's too much or you are hypersensitive, you don't hesitate to come back to 2 a day or 3 a day, and gradually introduce over a period of even 2-3 months up to 6 a day. Take your time, because of you go from hyper to hypo most likely.
Yes. Parce que ça problème est pas dans la thyroïde, ça problème est dans le thyroid releasing hormone.
The problem is not your thyroid gland. It's a hypothalamic relationship to the pituitary and to the thyroid. So it's
Yes. Thank you. Excellent question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other question? Well,
Yes, I have a question.
oh, there we go. We have Jorge.
Hi, Dr. Kiriac. How are you?
I'm very good. You?
I'm very good, thank you. My dog is doing better, thank you too. So I had a surgery about 7 years ago where my right lower para-thyroid was removed and also a nodule was removed. Since then, I have developed Hashimoto.
Mhm.
And I just actually went today because I have another now on the left side. I have another large nodule of 1.9 centimeters that it keeps giving inconclusive results in biopsy. So it was suggested to me that I do the surgery again on the left side and remove that nodule or if they can do another biopsy and get a conclusive result, then maybe not. I'm taking four, 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening of the F3 at the moment.
Please, pardon me, how many?
4, 2 in the
Four.
2 in the morning and 2 in the evening.
No.
What? Yeah.
One capsule at a time.
Oh, one at a time. 1 at a time, not 2 at a time?
No, please, one at a time.
But 4?
4.
But
Take
1 at a
please
time.
one capsule because we come every time with one capsule or with 2 capsules, you come to nourish your hypothalamus. But you need much more to nourish your hypothalamus several times daily. Not 2 times daily, but 4 times daily. That's why you must take one capsule 4 times daily.
So morning, afternoon, morning, 4 times.
During the day, each
Yeah.
3 hours, one capsule.
I understand. And how will that benefit my situation? It will what?
Let me know. Let me
you
know.
Because I'm now in the middle of this whole thing actually right now, and he wants to schedule me for surgery from the new year.
Michel, tu sais ce qu'elle a dit auparavant. Là, ils veulent céduler un autre chirurgie pour enlever une nodule qui n'est pas nécessairement diagnostiquée ou non. Elle veut savoir si ça va l'aider dans sa décision.
Oui, oui, Roland.
Okay.
C'est une conversation.
No. Excellent question. Mais premièrement, I don't like to share with the medicine protocol. But let's take one capsule 4 times daily for 2-3 weeks, for 4 weeks. After that, if everything is okay, increase your dosage up to 6 capsules daily for another month.
Mm-hmm.
And after then, go or drive to your medicine for one exam, please.
Yeah.
And let us know what's happening.
Okay.
Because it's difficult to talk to you, do it or not.
Right.
But I think with in your case, with one capsule 6 times daily, you'll be able to correct significantly your situation.
Okay. So fine. I'll do that because it's the new year and I have plenty of time to do that and then go back for another blood test, I guess.
Yes. If you like, you can, Roland, on peut se retourner vers la charte numéro 8 pour le laisser faire comprendre mieux.
were you,
Sorry,
we-
I have a question if that person's finished.
she's not finished yet. We just want to
Oh.
go back to one chart. It won't be too long.
Oh.
Orly, we have here. Do you see a chart?
No, not yet. It's black.
Not yet. Then.
Yeah, we see the slideshow, but
Yeah.
Chart 8.
Did you see these charts before, Orly?
yeah, I saw them in the when you guys started up.
Était là, Michel. Elle les a vus. Elle a vu la question.
Je
Eight.
comprends bien, mais il faut qu'il, parce qu'il était là, mais il n'a pas compris.
Eight.
Elle peut
Clique.
t'appeler. Moi, je dis elle peut t'appeler, Michel.
Voilà. With one capsule daily, we are going to nourish, to do some action on the hypothalamus, point H. And then the physiological processes is happening in all the body. With one or with two capsules is the same physiological processes which happening in your body.
Okay.
That's why you must to take one capsule 4 times daily in order to amplify, to multiple.
I understand. So it's basically I have it in my system all day long.
Absolutely, yes, and to keep your negative feedback constant in your body. No?
Yeah, I understand.
Thank you very much. Next question.
Thank you, Dr. Kiriac. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Kiriac. Good evening, Dr. Thomas. My question is, I take the F2. I take 3 capsules a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. What I've noticed is that my hair has started to thin, and I'm wondering if I need to take more capsules or maybe I just need to drink more water. I don't have any medical conditions other than I was diagnosed with a trigger finger on my left hand, for which I've not taken medication.
T'as compris, Michel?
Compris, explique-moi encore. J'ai compris. Je pense que oui, mais.
La madame prend 3 capsules par jour.
Oui.
Et ce qu'elle a observé, c'est que ses cheveux sont amincis. Et elle demande si elle n'est pas médicamentée, elle n'a pas de diagnose, si elle devrait prendre plus de capsules.
Oui. Elle doit prendre jusqu'à 6 capsules. Elle doit aller jusqu'à 6 capsules par jour. Et s'il vous plaît, plus des noix avec le zinc et le magnésium. Mais pas de magnésium dans les capsules et le zinc. Aller chercher dans les noix, dans les flaxseed, Brazil nuts, noix de Grenoble, almonds. Elle doit manger ça.
Yeah. So try, ramp up to 6 a day gradually. Every 2 days, add 1 more capsule and include almonds or different nuts to have more zinc and magnesium, Michel?
Yeah.
And magnesium, but from whole food as well. The capsule has zinc and magnesium, but you have more in the nuts. And see how that goes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Water is always good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. It is now, 3 o'clock. We will adjourn. This meeting was recorded and is available for anyone asking for it. We will email you the link so you can listen at your leisure and share it even with families and friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kiriac.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bogi.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you again.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.